So far, you heard the story of Impact Hub Berlin. You heard the challenge of building this sustainable house. And now we thought it's time to really take a closer look at the power of collaboration to build a sustainable impact economy. And to take a look at that, we thought it was best not to look at it from an Impact Hub perspective, but from a community perspective. So with me on stage, I have Dr. Jonas Hüther, expert for sustainability and circularity at Miele, to give you the perspective of an ecosystem partner. Round of applause. So Jonas, you're going to have to speak up slightly, but maybe you can say a couple of words to who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Actually, probably most of you have been expecting Christoph Wendker. I was Senior Vice President for Sustainability and Regulatory Affairs. Unfortunately, he is in quarantine with Corona, so he cannot be here with us today. So I'm taking over for him. I'm Circularity and Longevity Manager at Miele. And in a nutshell, that means that within our company, my colleagues and I, we are looking at all the possibilities we have to make our products more sustainable, especially, in my case, more circular. And yeah, thanks for having me here today. We had the pleasure of having our kickoff workshop yesterday in this house. And it's really inspiring to sit in a circular house. And I think it's the best place to think, okay, why don't we do this for everything that we do? Why only buildings? So that's why I'm here today.
Thank you. Next to Jonas, we have Corinna Enders, Managing Director from Zukunft Umwelt Gesellschaft, ZUG. She's a public partner and they have an office space at Impact Hub and will give that perspective. Welcome. Corinna, do you want to say a couple of words to who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thank you very much. First, I would like to say it's a real pleasure to be here part of the opening. So it's already fantastic, and I'm looking forward to the evening. We are the Zukunft Umwelt Gesellschaft is a governmental or federally owned non-profit organization, and we support the German government, the ministries, in its funding policies, which means we implement and manage the funding programs. We have a huge variety of programs we manage at the moment, but all of them are in the environmental area or climate change or nature conservation. So that's our thematic focus. And then, of course, we have international programs, we have national ones, we have huge ones, we have very small ones. We work in the decarbonization of energy-intensive industry, but also in the nature. We work for the wilderness, we have a wilderness fund, so totally different in the environmental area. We started in 2018, we had an enormous journey of growth. We are now, so we started from 0 in 2018 and we have now 650 employees. So it was a tough journey, wow. I have to say, and yeah, so that's what we are doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next to Corinna, we have Hadi Soufan, the co-founder and CEO of Reviving Home, and he will give you the member perspective, obviously.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me here and opportunity to speak for the great community in Impact Hub. My name is Hadi Soufan. I'm Syrian architect and social entrepreneur, founder of Reviving Home. Reviving Home online crowdfunding platform aims to help displaced people to revive and rebuild their war-torn cities. It connects at first-hand torn communities globally with fund, knowledge, and marketing working together to revive the villages, neighborhoods, and city. To revive any neighborhood in the world, you need two main parts: community mobilizers and construction experts. We call them trustee in Reviving Home. Community mobilizer is leading the community and mobilize the community and make a trust for people and present the needs for the neighborhood to the global so they can get support and feel safe to present what they need and solve their problems. Construction expert is responsible to deal with buildings. Trustees will be listed in Reviving Home website after they pass the training. Let's say if somebody here from Ukraine now have a destroyed flat in Kiev, they can search in our community in directory for a trustee in Kiev, contact them. Construction trustee knows exactly what they have to do. They will start crowdfunding campaign, project campaign, start to collect enough money which needed to rebuild the flat. Let's say 5,000 euro. When we collect the money, 5,000 euro, we send the first milestone, let's say 2,500 euros. The trustee will be responsible, step by step, to documentate all these details in our platform. If you donate in 10 euros, you have the right to see all the details transparently. Invoices, media, photos, and so on. So that's how Reviving Home is worked.
Thank you very much. And this roundtable wouldn't be complete if we wouldn't invite somebody from Impact Hub Global. We're not just in Berlin, we're worldwide. So I'm also very happy that Tatiana Glad joined us today as Executive Director of the Impact Hub Network. Welcome. Do you want to say a couple of words to who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Tatiana Glad. I'm very, very happy to be here. I think being on the global team, we work virtually a lot. So to be in one of our amazing 107 impact hubs, to sit here live is really a special feeling. So congratulations to Team Berlin. So what we do is we not only support the network of impact hubs, but what we do is we partner with impact hubs to create more value for the entire global network and for societies, also in places where we don't have impact hubs.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. So we have 4 very different perspectives of our community that are represented, and we want to talk about the vision piece. What is their own vision? And talking about sustainable impact economy, I would like to know, what does that mean to you? So what does sustainable impact economy mean, and what role does collaboration play? Maybe starting with Hadi.
I think it depends on 2 main factors. The first one is the vision. Typical business vision is normally to create business who can gain more money for benefits people, to benefit more people with money. And impact should focus, the vision should focus on helping people and create the business model who can be sustainable and create a culture who can really lead the drive the vision and make control of the decision that always is driven to see the vision. That's the main first factor. Other factors is to build from bottom up. According to my experience for a long time now in Syria, no one asked people what they need. The decisions came from outside, then said, okay, we will send help for this community without asking them. So people, there are disappointment now in all Syria, and they feel that they are not connected for the globe. I think building, we should democratize the system of help. That's why I think it will be sustainable, and that's how Reviving Home vision works. Reviving Home vision works like we need to reach the right people in right time, in right place, and offer them the possibility to empower them to present what they need. And our responsibility here is to guarantee the process is going slowly and it's transparent. And in this case, we think that we are achieving the sustainable social business. We were able to deliver service in front of our doors using normal business concept, but we are not able to reach hungry people in the world now. And we were able to fly to the moon, and soon we will have vocation there, but we are not able yet to build schools in camps for children in North Syria. That's why the vision of help should be the priority, and then everyone will be happy. The stakeholders and all the communities. So you can build real business and gain very good money, but focus on the help of people, not just for gaining money.
Thank you very much. Corinna, from the perspective of ZUG, the vision of a sustainable impact economy, what does that look like?
Yeah, thanks. Let me maybe elaborate a bit more on the transformation which is needed at the moment. As also the State Secretary was mentioned, the transformation of economy is the main challenge at the moment. And there are already a lot of things going on, but as we are facing so many crises at the moment, the climate crisis, the loss of biodiversity, the biodiversity crisis, then the Ukrainian crisis, the food crisis, so we have to speed up with this transformation. So this is, I think, the main driver, and we have to elaborate a bit more on that. The government is already doing a lot. And we support the ministries in these efforts. So, for example, we do have a program which is focusing on energy-intensive industry to transform the production processes, because this is the main driver of greenhouse gas emissions, and to make them climate neutral and carbon neutral. So this is a huge funding program. It takes time, of course, to elaborate on these projects, but I think that's a very good example what we need at the moment to transform this energy intensive industry, which is steel and chemical industry and so on. Then we do have another program or project in our organization, which is the Power to X laboratory, which is also based in Cottbus, where we focus on decarbonize the aviation sector. You can substitute the kerosene with the Power to X technologies, with Power to Liquid, which is also funded by the ministry, and I think is also a very good example on the transformation we need at the moment. And then, of course, you always need, at the beginning, new ideas. You need new ideas and new technologies, and then I think we come to the artificial intelligence initiatives that we have here in the Impact Hub, or where we work here together. There's also huge potential in this digital area and with AI technologies to support or to tackle environmental challenges and to have an impact in this area, and that's also, of course, funded by the Ministry for Environment, and that's why we are here. When it comes to collaboration, of course, it's a basis for everything. I mean, our work is we collaborate with the Ministry, with our partners, we have all the implementing projects, and here it has a new focus, of course. It's focusing on the network and the civil society, who is very important to be part of this transformation we need at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that perspective. So as you can see, different visions, but different ways of reaching a similar vision. I'll bounce the ball directly to you, Jonas. How does Miele see the vision?
As you know, we are a family-owned business, and I think family-owned businesses by design have to be sustainable in some kind of way, because they pass on the business from generation to generation, and this generation to generation is kind of the definition of sustainability. So a company, a family-based company like Miele, needs to have satisfied customer, needs to have healthy and satisfied employees, and a working business to pass it on to the next generation. But that doesn't mean that we stop just there. So of course we want to be immer besser, our slogan. So we know that our responsibility doesn't end at our factory gates. The contrary is true. So there's a lot of emissions caused by the production, but for home appliances, the highest amount of emissions is caused during the usage of the devices. So what we need to do is to collaborate with different shareholders or stakeholders. So we have to collaborate with our customers. We have to enable the customers that they can use home appliances in the most sustainable way, in a circular way. And we need to help this process, because we can do a lot in our factory, but we cannot solve the whole thing afterwards if we are not collaborating with those using it. And we say we want to make sustainability happen in every step. So from supply chain, from production to the usage, we want to make sure that we are sustainable there. And so we need to collaborate, for example, as well also with startups like we're planning to do here.
Thank you. I'll ask you more about how you work here in a minute. Thank you very much. And maybe, Tatiana, briefly from a global perspective of Impact Hub, what's the vision of a sustainable impact economy and what role does collaboration play there?
So I think, first of all, we have to reshift our relationship to money and value creation. I think when I hear particularly all of you in what you're doing, we have to really create value through what we're doing for all stakeholders and move from being an extractive economy to one that is more regenerative. And I think when I hear you speak, this has to be participatory. We can't create it for people and impose that on them, because that's the old way. That's done. We can't do that anymore. We need to co-create that with people. And there's so many people with great ideas. I think places like this need to liberate those ideas and support them to be. And I think it's really about coming into a healthy relationship with each other and our planet. Ultimately, that's what it is. And if we can do that, then I think maybe we'll find some new ways forward.
Thank you very much. So you now see the different ways of how a better future is being sort of tackled and targeted and built. My question now is actually just maybe in a very short answer, in a nutshell. You're 4 complete different actors. Why did you decide to come to Impact Hub Berlin? And maybe my question starts with Jonas this time. Why did Miele, or why did you decide to partner with Impact Hub Berlin?
Because we already work together with startups, but here we think we found a possibility to have the same mindset. We might have very different histories, but I think we have the same mindset, because we all know that we need to solve questions of circular economy together in collaboration, and we cannot solve this on our own in isolation. We are very aware of that fact that we want to collaborate, and here we find the space and the right people to share those ideas.
It's great to have you, definitely. I'll actually bounce the ball directly to Corinna as well, to sort of get a better understanding why ZUG chose Impact Hub as an office space instead of going to the ministry.
So actually it's totally different, you're right, the offices we have at the moment. So usually we have these traditional offices and we need them as well for our work there. So of course our goal is to deliver as best as we can in our contracts with the ministries, and our traditional work is with files and paper. For example, we took over one initiative at the beginning of the year, one program, and we had 1.7 kilometers of paper files. So it's huge, and that's why we need these offices for our work. But here, of course, we have a totally different scope. We have to network. We would like to stay in contact with all our partners, to getting ideas, to be inspired with the surrounding of the workplace and everything. So that's why we think we can deliver the best as we can here at this pace and to have an impact here, and that's why we choose Impact Hub.
Thank you for choosing Impact Hub. No, thank you very much. And I'll actually take that ball right back and bounce it to Hadi from a member perspective. Why did you decide to become a member at Impact Hub Berlin?
Actually, every decision I made is related to the vision of Reviving Home. I searched for, even Impact Hub does not exist in Syria, but I was thinking about the future. And the vision of Reviving Home, it works. The most important thing in Reviving Home is number 1 and 2 and 3 is communication. First step is communication, build the trust, and then start to build community and start to that. When I searched, I found that Impact Hub exists not only in Berlin, it's internationally. So I have very wide, not only remotely, 100% remotely, also they have places in different countries, which is great for Reviving Home future vision. Working with many places will help to be ready for the crisis later, will be ready to develop the countries who faced difficulties because of war and crisis.
Thank you. I think you actually already made a beautiful bridge to Tatiana in terms of going from the local to actually an international community. Tatiana, can you maybe elaborate what value does Berlin add to the network?
Yeah, well, when you have, when you're working for change, most of you, right, now this working for change in the world, there's an inherent stretch between I'm working to this vision and I'm not there yet. So you can feel very alone. And I think Impact Hub Berlin in particular has a very powerful convening force. You feel it, right? You feel it in the room. You know there's going to be good stuff that's going to happen in this place. And what I've noticed is also with Impact Hub Berlin over the years, and I founded Impact Hub Amsterdam, so we've been neighbors for a long time, so I know what it's like to build a hub. One of the things you might not see behind the scenes is there's incredible tenacity. So, you know, you call them optimists, but it's because they're not afraid to talk about failure. They're not afraid to talk about the things that they've been learning. And this is what I respect a lot about you in the network, is that you bring in your lessons learned so other hubs can benefit from that. And you're bringing the value of other partners and, you know, the diversity of the amazing partners you have here so that the network can learn from it. And I find that that's really something that I'd love more organizations to emulate what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. So my final question, my almost final question, goes more into the direction of, now that you're here at Impact Hub, to understand how do you make it happen. And Corinna, I'll ask the question first to you, because you already mentioned the massive growth curve that you've had. What role, can you maybe elaborate a little bit more, what role did collaboration play then? How did you use collaboration to get all the different partners and stakeholders on board?
Yeah, so this growth is not possible without collaboration. So maybe first internally you need the collaboration. We started a very small team. I mean, we started with 2 directors, and then we built up with our team. And then of course it's everything about learning and listening and have a decision together how we proceed. So that was collaboration poor within the first year maybe. And then, of course, the huge support and partnership with the ministry. Without this, it could not have happened. That was the collaboration. And then when it comes to the funding projects where we really have to deliver our work, then, of course, is the contact and is important, is essential to deliver. Now, of course, it's a bit different. I mean, now we have hierarchies and processes, and of course, with more than 600 employees, it's a different organization. But I think we still have the character of the beginning. We started with the cultural process 4 years ago to build up the identity we have as values within our organization, coming from bottom up, is transparency, collaboration, sustainability, and transparency. So these are our values we already have, and how we build up the company and the growth.
Thank you. That's impressive. Thank you. Jonas, I'll take you next, because when you introduced yourself, you said that you had your first kickoff yesterday, and Miele is the partner of Impact Hub's circular economy ecosystem. And sort of having this fresh launch yesterday, how do you hope to activate the power of collaboration here at Impact Hub Berlin?
I'd like to answer in 2 parts, actually, because Miele is well known for longevity and for outstanding quality, but we still believe in that, but now we also see that circularity becomes more and more important, and that's why we want to work on the topic of circularity, of circular economy, together with other partners. And the way we believe collaboration can work is that we see many challenges, and this can be, I think, a very interesting field for startups to work on and to work with. Of course, we want to profit from ideas. We want to see what ideas are out there in terms of circular economy, in terms of circular products, of circular service systems. So of course, we want to get to know all the ideas that people have. But we also want to give the challenges to those startups to start maybe thinking about new ideas. And I think this is what brings us together in our collaboration.
Thank you very much. And I would say the same question, or a similar question, goes to Hadi. Is there, or maybe from the membership perspective, in terms of making things happen, is there anything that has happened at Impact Hub that wouldn't have happened without Impact Hub?
When the war in Ukraine started, I spent 10 days not able to work at all, and everyone was wondering, where's Hadi? I was not able to contact with anyone because all the memories came to my mind because in my city, in my neighborhood, the war started, the first rockets started in my neighborhood. I just get to these memories and I was not able to work at all and communicate with anybody at all. I was lost almost lost, as I promised myself, if I can help, I will do my duty in life to help people. So I took a time to decide to launch an initiative, translate the solution in Syria to Ukraine. And from this moment, I started to communicate and to get to touch with volunteers, asking them if we can start communicate in Ukraine and get wonderful volunteers who can help, but still there's a lot of logistics things not happening. And I sent them in our community here in Impact Hub, I sent them that I would like to get to know Odessa, Impact Hub there. So I will start from there, and I started to communicate. And I think this is the power of community. This is what I'm, as a reviving home, looking was, we have an infrastructure, communication for reviving home to start in different countries. That's why I hope that we can launch this initiative soon, because we can communicate and design the project for teaching trustees. We have a program called One Project Away Challenge. Trustees should pass this project to be certified in reviving homes, so people can trust them and they can apply for crowdfunding campaigns, and we control all these details. This is what I'm trying now to do with communication, and I think Impact Hub can be a great opportunity to communicate and make this bridge.
That's awesome. I hope we do build that bridge. Tatiana, maybe you already touched upon it, also saying that you've founded Impact Hub Amsterdam, now being in the global network. Is there, how would you say, does the next level of collaboration look like from a network perspective?
Well, I think your story is a big example of that. We often say that we have the physical infrastructure, the business infrastructure, and the social infrastructure. But to be honest, not enough people use that. And so I think that the future of this is very much building those translocal connections. So there's a lot of friendship in business that's started. We run translocal programs, and Impact Hub Berlin is actually, I'm happy to say, one of the hubs that scores the highest in terms of interconnections with other impact hubs on both a personal level and a business level. And so if we can do that more, if we can, amplify that in the network, and also allow our members more ways, more channels, more ways to flow, then I think that we've only just touched the tip of the iceberg of what collaboration can be at a global level in a very different way, in a networked way. So thank you for that.
Also, thank you for not just being the top of the iceberg, but actually actively stepping out and using and going for it and actually doing it. I would say, to wrap up the panel, I have one short question for each one of you. And talking about the power of collaboration. Obviously, collaboration is a big thing, makes you competitive. There's a lot of hard work because of all the stakeholders you have to keep in. But here at Impact Hub, we also believe in fun and serendipity and some zebras, whatever. But my question to you would be, just to wrap up the panel, how do you bring in fun to collaboration? Maybe Tatiana, let's start with you.
Well, I think it's sometimes stepping out of your own box and stop taking yourself so seriously and trying to think of if this isn't working, then how are we going to do it another way? And getting really stepping sometimes physically out and changing your environment. I think hubs are that for other people. Sometimes we need to get out and have a different type of environment as well.
Mostly because I'm working with volunteers without money, so I encourage them, and it depends on the culture of the organization how the executive can apply this cooperation. For me, is the fun while doing good for people, for volunteers, is to make like a competition. And sometimes we, when I was working physically with them, we have a lot of surprises doing a very simple way. Every time we do an activity, volunteering activity, somebody will surprise us with something. It was amazing ideas happening. And online, we missed such things, but I think it depends on the culture of the company, how you build this cooperation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think to me it's the collaboration in a place like this is already the fun part, and I think it's so important that we communicate together, especially after the pandemic, that we are here together, that we have also these small talks in the breaks during lunch and whatever, and then of course having also workshops with all the partners and having new ideas, being open-minded, understand maybe a totally different side apart from our own thinking and so on. I think it's a great opportunity, and that's then the fun. And a lot of fun will be then maybe also after work, but yeah.
Also good. Jonas, what about you?
We already started having the fun yesterday. We had the kickoff meeting, 2 people from Miele and 5 or 6 or 7, I'm not even sure, from Impact Hub Berlin, and that was already fun. And I think we are now on a really enormous transformation from linear to circular economy, and I believe that the huger the challenge, the more fun it is to solve the challenge, and let's do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being on the panel. I'm very thankful for having heard your different perspectives and your different stories, and to understand how you use Impact Hub to create impact and collaborate further, and also hopefully inspiring the audience to understand the power of collaboration is really in your own hands, but I'll get back to that at the end. So give them a round of applause. Thank you very much for being up here.